Sorry about that, everyone. We apologize. We had a momentary technical difficulty, but we're back. Thank you so much. And we are going to go ahead and continue from where we left off. As I was saying, Adam was having a discussion with everyone about the fact that he doesn't know who and what they are. And therefore he doesn't know who and what he is. So, continue what you're saying, Sonata.
Oh, we are just people trying to... he is very strong, and we are just people trying to build a community together, sort of. Get through life with these extenuating circumstances. As for how to handle it, that just kind of comes with practice, unfortunately. But sometimes there's things we can do to help out, and you figure out different quirks and tricks. I will admit, Braden is actually kind of... we all have different relationships, and some work different than others, but maybe there's something we can do to help Adam find a different obsession. Something less potentially damaging. Like woodworking or stonemasonry.
Adam actually laughs and he says, the only thing that he seems to understand is the pain and anger he feels. And I don't even know where that comes from. And the only other thing that he understands is that when he finds something that he wants to defend, that's all he can think about doing, keeping it safe. He feels like he was built for that. That's the only things I know.
Interesting.
Well, I feel like I can understand that. Maybe not the, breaking literally everything, but I can understand how he feels about that kind of, that single-minded purpose, that protectiveness. I mean, to a degree, possessiveness, definitely. It comes from a good place, but that doesn't always mean that it results in good behavior.
It's not even that. I mean, you can sit there and I know what you're trying to say. It comes from a good place, but we all know where that leads. I've spent. He's like, who eats children?
Nobody.
No. Keep going.
I'm getting the feeling that some very weird shit is happening around here.
Keep going. No, we're having a moment. Keep going.
We all
you turn into the Hulk. Yeah, there's nothing. I can fly. Sonata can fly.
And people
in the presence of two gods. Dude, normal went out the window a while ago. You're married to the Greek god of partying and chaos
and madness.
Oh yeah, forgot that one.
Tried to bring out an apocalyptic event.
Yeah.
As you do.
At
Normal's gone,
Undead.
brother.
Yes. Unfortunately, yeah.
But there is new normal.
He kind of reaches down and he puts the headphones in.
Yeah.
And he just sits there for a minute and his face kind of darkens. And he starts taking deep breaths. And you swear he seems to grow a little bit. And then after a few moments, he kind of just seems to go back to normal. He takes the headphones out. And he looks at you, Sonata, and he says, it helps.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I understand that things have gotten weird. But at the same time, I just want to go back to my life.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's...
How can I go back to my life? I don't even look like me anymore.
I think this is where I can come in helpful a little bit.
All right, everybody else, back up.
Yeah, all right.
This is
Well,
what I
I'm gonna
understand.
stay next to Sonata because if Frank touches her again, that's it. We're splitting up.
Appreciate it. I understand better than most people, considering my.
Thank you for the
alter
follow,
ego.
Christy.
Oh,
He says,
Thank you.
I understand what you're going to say. He says, but I used to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I can't even listen to people speak because I don't have the patience to let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this even works if I can't listen.
Well, it's unfortunately gonna make things a little bit harder for certain. I can tell you that I have had more than my fair share of feeling like I wanted to claw someone's face off, and that was not particularly me.
And so this guy looks around, he's like, but apparently you clawed someone's face off.
No. That,
Dug the heart out of his chest.
yeah, that's
Kevin, not helping right now.
He kind of puts his hands on his head. And he
What?
says,
I
what?
understand.
Right. Sorry, you're new to this.
I
Yeah.
know that I keep on wanting to say he's hurt people, but it's me.
well.
It's
Yes
still
and no.
me. How come I can't control him?
Because he isn't you.
Right. You can't control him because he's not you. No more than I can control the other guy and me.
Just because you share a body doesn't mean that you are the same person, which may be a little hard to comprehend at first, but there has to be a sort of symbiosis, and unfortunately that's something he's going to have to learn as well. Maybe what we can figure out how to do is, over time, you can create a sort of relationship where every once in a while he gets to come out, do what he needs to do. Maybe you go up camping at a cabin in the woods and spend an entire week destroying trees or something.
Oh,
And then the next week you get to spend in control with him trying to keep himself in check. It's maybe what we need to do is convince him that the person he needs to protect isn't Amy but you.
Teach you two how to be good roommates.
Yeah.
If he's a natural protector and you're someone who is in a life of danger, because let me tell you, I, as a public figure, also know how extremely dangerous it is to walk out your front door. You now have a built-in failsafe for if someone tries to come for you. And clearly someone has already tried to come for you. So maybe we can work to make this work in your favor. And even if it's hard, and it'll take some cooperation between the both of you, and maybe you have to give up a couple of things, and maybe he has to give up a couple of things. Not easy to make him do, I understand.
Did
It could work.
Did I recognize the caliber of the bullet hole in the suit that he was wearing previously?
Let's see. I think you could pretty much. I mean, you can get a good estimate because there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you can get a good estimate, and it is basically small arms. It's not anything significant. It's not like he was cut, hit with a 30 caliber machine gun or something crazy like that.
Right, like a 22 maybe.
Yeah, or a .27.
Okay.
Something semi-auto.
Yeah.
And remember, there was a lot of holes. There was a lot of holes in the car.
Right.
So it was definitely something that could go full auto. So it's not going to be big caliber. This is going to be a lot of lead in the air type thing.
Right. No.
So,
look,
go ahead.
yeah, look, Adam. The thing is that as a public figure, I don't know who you pissed off, but for somebody to put a for somebody to unleash semi-auto rounds, small arms fire into you like that. I saw that suit, and chances are I've had my hands on a gun like the one that did that to you, and Frank pulled your ass out of the fire. I mean, putting aside what he did to my Jeep, and luckily that I didn't have to live with him.
Get you a new one. I'll get you a better one.
Yeah, we'll discuss that. Look, Kame's pulled me out of some scrapes before, and at least your better half is looking out for you in that regard, and maybe we just teach him that you two got to look out for each other. You got to learn to do the same.
I just hope that he'll understand. Understand that.
Well, he can't protect things without a body. He can't have a body without you.
I know. I get it. I know. But trying to make him... Oh, God. It's so hard to make him understand.
I got the impression that he doesn't often see reason.
I got that to prove it.
Yeah.
And he visibly, like, pales when he looks at your neck.
It was a joke, honey. I'm okay. I've had worse, honestly. Well,
To be fair,
no,
Kame
yeah.
tried to eat her, what,
yesterday.
3 nights ago? Yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
would say you've had worse from who, but we all know where he ended up, so.
Yeah, you should see the other guy.
Now,
says-
that's a joke.
Yes, but it's a private, personal joke, so it's not quite as obvious.
So Adam kind of like, his shoulders kind of sag down a little bit. And he kind of looks around and he says, what do we do now? Where do we go now?
Okay, well, he wants Amy. And we can't exactly... I mean, here's the thing, Adam, is at some point we are going to have to take you to a police station or get you the hell out of town.
If he wants to get back to his life, I think it would be good to try to figure out how to do that.
Well,
I think
right, if he wants to get back to his life, we gotta take him to the cops because he's a missing person.
Which means step one, I think, is an intensive with me about how to get away with lying. So we're going to come up with a story that has enough truth in it to be believable, but is not the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And we're going to train you in it so that it's so believable it's the only thing that you can possibly do. Step one, you were definitely drugged. 100% drugged. Probably PCP. Your car got shot up and you were kidnapped for a couple of days running through the forests with super drugs in your system. In fact, maybe it was connected to the people who set up the crazy zombie apocalypse. Because
Zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
Oh, right.
That's complicated. We'll explain that in a second. But the assumption, we lay enough breadcrumbs that it can be assumed that you were a test subject for whatever happened recently. And then you don't remember very much, but you woke up on the side of the street looking very worse for wear. We happened upon you while we were helping Kevin investigate something, and by we I mean everyone except me because I can't be seen in public. And
Actually, I was supposed to be investigating his disappearance. That's what the contract says.
exactly.
Oh, perfect.
So you managed to track him down just outside of town.
Who wait, who contracted you to find me?
Your wife.
Your wife?
Yeah.
How
Still
long
count-
has it been?
So it's been a couple days
Like a week.
since then.
Yeah, no, it's been like a week.
It's been about a week.
You've been missing, though. You've been missing for at least a week. Not more. Maybe 2.
Yeah, that missing
I gotta
time's a
find
bitch,
a.
ain't
I
it?
gotta find a phone.
Oh.
We need to find a phone that can't be tracked. Do you ever miss payphones?
I have a burner phone.
Of course.
You have a... Why am I surprised?
So we don't know who.
I'm ex-army. Of course, I have a burner phone.
We don't know who attacked me.
No.
No.
But that would be our next step, hopefully.
And we know that Amy is safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Amy is currently safe,
So she's in a hospital.
Yes.
or she's either in one or being transferred to one. Yes.
Yeah, she's being transferred to one. She's
Yeah.
she's going to be in a hospital that you were thinking about breaking into.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's
The other guy's kind of convincing. Yeah.
And she's safe,
Yeah.
even though you guys were going to break in and get her out.
Well,
Yeah.
not everyone has superpowers.
So there's people who have automatic weapons who shot my car to pieces on a public road.
Mm.
And Amy, who is in a very public altercation that was on TV, is being transferred to a hospital that has security crappy enough to where, no offense, you guys could break in and get her out.
If it helps, part of our plan was actually to use your weight
Yeah.
and political prowess.
Well, then I'd have to be found again, wouldn't I?
Yes, which was why step 1 was give you a convincing lie, and step 2 was to find a place that could take in your wife and help her.
Yeah. And my
That
old
you-
man's gonna have to meet us at the police station
Yes.
because he's the one
Who's
working
your old man?
Detective Connors.
What's your dad's first name? I forgot.
We never actually decided.
Oh, what is your dad's first name then?
I just call him Dad or that asshole, but I
You
imagine...
do know his first name.
Yeah, let's go with Earl.
And he kind of looks at you and says, Earl
Your dad's
Connors?
first name is Earl?
I'm sorry.
In
that was
real life,
racist.
so is my grandfather.
Earl
Then
had
what happened
died.
to you? Do you have an older
my
brother who got Earl?
No, it's my first
He
name.
kind of looks at you and he says, Earl Knuckles Connors?
Knuckles?
Yeah,
No.
Like the hedgehog?
don't make that comparison to him.
Yeah,
Listen, I have a lot of
he earned that
young
nickname like 20 years ago, so... He says, but that's your father.
Yeah, that's my dad. I'm Kevin.
Why is he called Knuckles?
Earl had to die.
He says, oh,
He got assigned to your missing persons case, man. I didn't file the paperwork.
well, as far as I know, you're not on the force. Last I heard, you were... A long time ago, you were in the military.
I was in the army.
And then you were doing some private detective work or something?
That is
That
correct.
explains how you got hired to find me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because my other guy is why I'm not in the army anymore.
If it's anything like mine, I can understand why.
Sorry. No.
My guy has wings, so there's that.
And super speed and super strength and a penchant for blood.
A
That
penchant
dude.
for what?
Lord.
Yeah. Particularly mine.
Well,
You were
he's
bleeding.
not he's not getting anywhere near your. No one's getting anywhere near your blood. Not on my watch.
Can we let's
Right.
let's just and this Jack steps out. He's like, okay, I've been really patient because we obviously needed to discuss some things. But he kind of looks at y'all. But we're still on the street. Can we
Yes.
please just go somewhere
True.
not public?
Well,
I
we
don't have a
the
car
motel
anymore.
room.
Yeah, we have.
Wait, you have a
have
car
another-
service.
Yeah, you want me to summon a limo?
A limo?
I mean,
I also have to, like, my manager has to make arrangements. It's not like it's a fast-paced thing. I have a limo service that takes me from place to place when I
let's
need
at least
it.
walk to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Adam kind of is like, does any of you know how to use a cell phone and have Uber?
Oh, I do have the, I think I can, yeah. And so she pulls it up and she instantly presses the, like, Uber luxury.
Oh, wow.
Uber Black.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Kevin's gonna
Uber
pull out a
Black.
pack of cigarettes and just start packing it as he
my
walks
God.
to the sidewalk.
Adam,
Kevin, why is your dad's nickname Knuckles?
That's a damn good question. I asked him about it one time, and I mean, you know how he reacts when I ask him questions.
and Adam kind of looks around and is like,
Last
you
time
don't
you
know
touched
why
it?
your dad's nicknamed Knuckles?
He threatened to shoot me for working your case.
It's like, I highly doubt he threatened to shoot you just for working my case.
No,
Adam,
he
why
threatened to
is
shoot
his
him just
dad
for
named
working your
Knuckles?
case.
His dad's name is Knuckles because he used to be very aggressive with questioning his suspects to the point where the next day his knuckles would be all swollen up.
He does not get to talk bad about you ever again, does he?
He was a tough beat cop for a long time.
Okay.
No wonder he
Yeah,
would
he's
get
still a tough cop.
it. So that's where you get it. You don't want to kill me, you don't want to kill me, you don't want to kill me.
Dad, I am never making eye contact with your dad again.
Ever. Ever.
Never happening again, no.
Carry your own donuts.
I'm probably still gonna have to buy the donuts.
Well, yeah, that's a given. All right, so after about 10 minutes, the Uber shows up. Actually, no, it's going to be about 15 minutes because it's a black, and you're not you're not in the best neighborhood, so it's going to take a while for someone to find a driver who's willing to come down here. But
I told you it was going to take a while. We could have walked faster.
a large black expedition pulls up, and what is your alias on your Uber? Because you're obviously not going to go by Sonata Raid Me on your
Nope.
Uber handle. So what is the alias on your Uber?
Oh, man. The only thing I can think of is Arya Gold.
Aria Gold. Got it. No, that's fine. That's fine.
That's,
So the driver pulls up and he says, "Aria Gold and party." Rolls on the window.
Samantha. You know,
Yes,
you
that
don't
would be
have to
us.
go with
He's
all
like,
this
he's like,
fancy shit.
he's like, excellent. He's like, go ahead and hop in. And where did you set the Uber up to go?
Probably, well, we would have discussed this before. My first thought is, like, to the motel. Is that where we want to go, or do we want to try somewhere?
Well, because he still has to change clothes, right? Isn't he still in the...
He's in that little sweatpants and t-shirt outfit you got him.
Oh, wait, no, then he's good. Okay.
Yeah.
There's my office.
Yeah, we could go to your office.
We go to Kevin's
So-
office.
Yeah.
There's at least booze there. Adam, you
Oh my
want
God.
booze?
No, he's not allowed
No,
to drink.
don't get him drunk now.
Don't get him drunk
I
now.
thought he
No.
said he couldn't get drunk.
Yeah,
anymore.
it doesn't
Then
matter.
why
Getting
give-
out
then-
of control is not a good idea for him.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No booze for you.
No.
He kind of looks
Mind-altering
around.
substances.
He kind of looks around. And he says, "Okay. I mean, I'm assuming it'd be a bad thing."
So yeah, she would have said it for Kevin's office.
All right. So he said he gets in and he's like, Aaron gets in the car and he's like, he says, charger cords are in the back. He says there's bottled water he says is bottled water. And does anyone need some gum or anything?
Water would be lovely, thank you, but I think I'm okay as far as gum goes. Appreciate it though.
All right. So then there's even like a little a little cooler type thing in the back that's got bottles of water in it. And everything. So you guys, he takes off. He begins driving. It takes about 30 minutes to get from where you are to back to Kevin's office. And I do believe Kevin's office was near-ish to Elysium, the club. Yeah. So you guys get there. As you're getting close to Elysium, Jack kind of says, "Oh, hey, can you stop?" to the driver, and the driver kind of like, "Yeah." He pulls over, and Jack kind of looks at you guys. He says, "I'm gonna go in and check in." He says, He says, "You guys just get a good cover story. We're gonna have to get him back in front of at least the cops." He says, "So just make sure he knows what he's doing and stick to the plan as much as possible. We got to get her out." He says, "Because you know who could get mad at any minute because she's not back yet."
Yeah. Let Seth know what's going on too, and let him know where we're at.
He says, "All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go let Seth know what's going on."
Yeah.
This is
Just in case, you know.
He kind of looks at Kevin. He says, "I'll be up in a bit."
Sounds good.
So he takes off and starts running down the street towards where the Elysium is. The driver continues on for another couple of blocks until he gets to the building that's your office is in. He pulls over and he says, "Well, here you are, ladies and gentlemen." And he jumps out and he opens the door for Sonata and Alejandra.
Appreciate it. She hands him like $40.
He's like, "Oh, you're supposed to tip on the app, but this is fine. This is fine." He kind of pulls it
I've
up.
learned that it's a little bit better in person. The app gets a little complicated for paying people sometimes. So.
He says, "Oh, it's absolutely fine. Thank you, though."
And don't claim it on your taxes because they don't know it's there.
He's like, "Well, just but don't forget 5 stars."
100%. Thank you so much for helping us out. And just
And you get,
everybody.
yeah, as you're walking off, as you walk off, you head into the building. The driver gets back into the vehicle and takes off after a few moments. You guys, Kevin, I don't think we've had a clear description of the building that your office is in. Can you describe this building to us?
So the building itself, the office is located in a strip mall that Kevin is not supposed to be living in, but he does. And on either side, on one side there's a dry cleaner, on the other side there is, ironically, a donut shop. And where normally you would think that you would see windows on the front, there's just the one door. There's a little sign up above it that just says Connor's Private Detective Agency. And there's 2 locks on the door. Kevin will unlock both doors. And the inside is fairly clean. There's whiteboards up. There's 2 couches. There's ashtrays everywhere and a half-drunken bottle of rum sitting on one of the desks. And a couple empty beer bottles here and there. Otherwise, it's fairly devoid of anything other than a computer and a printer and papers everywhere that are in different cases.
Gotcha. No filing cabinets?
There are no filing cabinets.
Gotcha.
Everything is if it's not in a desk or on the desk, it's on a computer file somewhere.
So Adam kind of walks in and looks around, walks back to one of the couches and he goes to sit down, and then he half jumps up and reaches in and kind of pulls a beer bottle out from between the cushions.
Oh, sorry.
And he's like, "Hey, I'm just happy to be able to sit down for a minute." And he kind of sets a beer bottle on the floor between his feet, and he kind of just leans back and he puts his head back and he says, "A week? How the hell can I lose a week?"
It's actually not that surprising, honestly.
Yeah, for an awakening? Nah, not really. That's pretty normal. Kevin will pull out another cigarette and look at everybody. Anybody mind?
Adam kind of he kind of gets a distasteful look on his face when he's like, "Hey, it's your show."
Yeah, all right. Sonata. Yeah, all right. It's not the bar. I get it. And he puts the cigarette back.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's
It's terrible for your vocal cords.
He said, Adam kind of leans forward and he says, "All right, so your game plan was somehow based around using Frank to get you guys into the hospital or using me?
Oh no, that was
using
the
you.
original plan, but no, we're not going with that one anymore.
No.
We need you, because of who you are, we need you to be found. And that means we need you to memorize a story, and we need
Well, we need a plausible story.
a plausible story, and we need Frank to stay calm long enough to be able to pull the plan into motion, because then you, as you, can have Amy basically moved wherever you need for her safety.
Well, I can pretty much do that because I have, if she is not being judged of sound mind, I can have her transported to a private facility for evaluation.
Correct.
Exactly.
It
So that was
says,
the plan, was to have her transferred to a private facility that you would have access to.
but she'd still have, the police, God, I gotta stop doing that. The police would still have to have access to her because she is, at the very least, a material witness to whatever happened, and from what you described, she's probably a suspect.
Most likely. If it makes you feel any better, I destroyed the computer with some of the evidence on it.
Allegedly.
I did buy them a new computer, though. It was delivered, or it will be delivered in a few days. Totally anonymously. They have no idea. It's fine.
She was never at that tattoo parlor.
Never.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Neither was I.
Perfect. Nothing was said.
This is all right.
I've never coached a witness for this before.
Yeah, Kevin, maybe you shouldn't be the one to, add things in. No offense, you're fantastic and really do a wonderful job. But sometimes
I
maybe
find
lying
the
is a little
criminal.
bit...
I don't usually.
Maybe lying is a little bit...
It's not usually a thing I do. No.
Acting might be a little bit more up my alley, and I might be able to assist him in learning how to become a talented enough actor to get by through the day.
To be fair, people still think you're sane, so yeah, let's go with that one.
Thank you very much for the follow, Melinda Sager. So he says,
I didn't mean that the way it came out. It's just my awakening. Everybody thinks I'm crazy now, and you had yours, and it's not fair. Damn it. Kevin's just gonna sit down in his little chair. He's gonna pull the rum bottle.
I think that might have more to are here for mine, and if from what I'm understanding from the rest of you, you guys were kind of on your own.
Oh, actually, I came out of mine smelling like a rose, honestly. Socially speaking, of course.
I have no idea how any of that happened, and I probably shouldn't know.
Really better to not.
Mine could be explained away, so didn't have as much social consequence. I mean, it was weird having a hurricane in winter, but climate change or something.
All right. He says, let's start then, I guess. What's the story?
So, first step is we want you to sound as panicked as possible when you're talking about it. Traumatic events have a physical effect on your body, so what you want to do is you really want to know how to do that. Your eyes get really big and start to kind of water. The less you blink, the easier it'll be to look like you're crying.
So there's a problem inherent with that.
Mm-hmm.
If I start to panic, it's not usually me anymore.
Well, yes. You're going to show the physical effects of panicking without actually feeling the panic. I mean, don't get me wrong. In true and actual acting, it's better to try to feel through the emotions. But when that's not an option, eye drops.
Interesting. This is what I'm trying to say is, if I get too upset, and trust me, I am doing everything I can to stay as calm as possible right now.
Okay.
if I get truly upset, it is not going to be me in charge.
Got it. So, other kind of trauma. Another way the trauma can manifest is through a numbness. So what you want to do is
That might be
keep your
better.
face, yeah, keep your face very neutral and all your words very detached. So your tone should sound calm and even, almost like none of it is really sinking in. It's a way to keep yourself sane in a situation that was extremely traumatic. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you have vague details. So you don't want to get too detailed about things or they'll know you're lying. You want to keep things pretty vague and very, very easy to remember, mostly rooted in truth. So you were driving along, the next thing you know there were gunshots, the car was on the side of the road, it all happened really fast, and then you were something was being dropped in your mouth, and you felt crazy. The next thing you remember, you're running through the forest and the world is spinning, and then it gets dark until we find you on the side of the road.
And I take it I just have to keep repeating that over and over again, because
Yeah.
We had to
I
do
can
it for 3 days.
I can tell you that it sounds crazy.
Yep. Exactly.
It sounds like something no one's going to believe.
Well, see, that's the secret. It'll be believable because A, there's evidence of the car being attacked. B, you're telling the truth that there was someone who attacked you. C, you're a political figure, which means that kidnapping is definitely a thing that would happen, and keeping you drugged would be a way to try to mitigate that, but you want to be able to give them the ability to jump to these conclusions without actually giving them the end result.
And people tend to lose their memory when they're in shock.
Mm-hmm. And when they're drugged.
So, what about... go ahead.
May I use my investigative nature, specifically examine the scene to see if he's like already shaking, like if he's already visibly in shock?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and let me see something, Kevin. There we are.
Because I see an investigate option here, so because I'm specifically investigating his body language.
Right.
I want to see like where he's at, like.
So,
obviously, like with Frank and trying to hold Frank down, I feel like...
So you have interrogate good cop and interrogate bad cop. This is kind of an interrogation situation, so I'm assuming you're going to use interrogate good cop?
Yeah, well, and I'm trying to examine, like, his body language, so, like, the scene in this case is him. He's the scene, so, like, you know, like, his body language, how he's standing.
I see what you're saying, All right, you can do that. So you're going to use that. That gives you a +1. I think that the weakness tag is definitely going to apply because you're trying to suss out this situation and you're trying to get that going through him. So, do you want to apply any temporary tags? If you scroll down your sheet, you look down there. You're still slightly wrecked, which is not going to apply to this because you're not trying to do really anything physical.
Well, that was the car.
Oh, that was the car had the tag. Oh, and we don't.
Yeah,
we're not using the car anymore, so we can take that tag off.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna take that off, and you're not shooting anyone, so we can dump off the long range.
Right.
But you do you want to apply try and do a tag on this one?
Which one?
This,
no, I think that'll work. Do I also click on build up too, right? Because I'm rolling.
You might build up
on the character card.
Oh yeah. Because you use one. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and roll investigate.
Okay. I'm gonna click the button.
Mm-hmm.
Which should give us the roll. 8.
And 8 is a partial success. Hang on a second. I got the thing too high. There we go. So, and what were you trying to suss out of this? Because when you ask a question, you can basically you choose one of the possible things for the investigate. Um, the clues you get are fuzzy or incomplete, or whatever you're asking the questions of can ask you one question as well, and you have to answer on the same terms you asked.
Okay. Mostly, so like what I'm trying to see is like, is he visibly shaking? Does he already appear to be in shock? Because
He has gone. He seems to either be taking what Sonata has said to heart, or he is working so hard to control whatever, and not in a strong manner, that he is basically not really reading a lot facially, that you're getting cute clues off of.
we can't hear you, Ray.
Hang on one second.
Oh no.
You seem to be back, if that's any consolation.
I hopefully will be back.
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, we're having...
Yep.
Oh, there it goes.
Give it a second.
it's the leg. It's the leg.
It's frozen on YouTube too.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I look much better this time than I did last time we froze.
Alright, we haven't...
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, we're still having some lag issues here. Wow, that's really getting rough. Alright, I think I can shut this down safely. Alright, that's good. That seems to be okay.
Ooh.
So excited. What are you excited about?
Oh, I got a Libby account.
What's a Libby account?
Maybe.
You can get, if you have a library card,
Mm-hmm.
you can submit it to this like online website where you can borrow ebooks and audiobooks for free through your library. And I just put it on all my devices because I have a lot, like I have some free time this year and I want to read more because that's what makes me feel inspired to write. And I've been so fried that I haven't felt creative like for my own projects in like months. So I'm trying to like, but also college students don't know money. So I'm like, ooh, library.
Libraries are great. Best inventions.
Looks
All
like
right.
we're back up and
Yes, it looks like we're good. Alright.
Oh, and it, okay, this is cool. I'm sorry. It also gives you, like, you borrow it, like, it from the library, so it's like you have 14 days to read it, and I'm like, cool, I will feel way more motivated to actually, like, read the stuff I'm borrowing, because then I'll lose access to them.
There you go. And now you
Alright.
have motivation.
Yeah, boy.
Alright.
We got to be literate.
Sorry for the snafu there, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, like I was saying, Kevin, he's whatever is causing him, whatever he's trying to hold back, whatever he's trying to keep control of. It is obviously taking a lot of effort, but he is obviously doing it because he has gone stone face. He is repressing like a lot. And so you can't get any type of real strong read over what his emotions are doing. You're kind of sitting there staring at him, and you're trying to get that gauge. You think that he is you can see off the small cues he's giving that he's definitely upset. You just can't get a gauge on how upset, because he could be to the point of being in tears. But he is working his ass off to hold it in check so Frank doesn't react.
Would I be able to compare it to like somebody being like shell shocked, or having like a severe shock reaction to like combat or a traumatic situation, like something like maybe I saw at war or something?
The hardest part is he's actively trying to control this. So you don't know if this is real or if this is just this is just him doing the whole, I'm going to go ahead and just keep myself so far under control that I'm not giving away anything. And
Gotcha.
plus, you don't know him as a person,
Right.
so that's another big thing.
Damn.
So it's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy to get that
Yeah.
across. All right.
Well, I mean, guys, with the way the thing is, like, right now, if we were to take him in right now, which I'm sorry, Adam, I realize you're not acting at the moment. If we were to take him to the cops right now with exactly the way he is, Adam's got everything so under control that they might jump to the conclusion that he's in shock. They might also jump to the conclusion that he's hiding something. I'm sorry, Adam, I wish I had better news.
Adam kind of looks at you and he says, I don't know what else to do. He's like, if I don't rein this in, I don't know if I can sit there and have this type of conversation with these people.
You know, I believe me, I understand. I was kind of hoping that because you're having to rein it in, I don't know if I'm making sense. I was hoping that it would help you sell the story, but I don't know, guys. I mean, if we can get him to shake a little bit, maybe sweat.
I think you're doing a great job. And again, we just started. You can't expect him to be an expert in no time.
Oh no, I don't.
It's definitely not an easy thing to do. So if you're not comfortable and you don't think you can pull it off, that's understandable. Maybe we find... I don't know. What would you... If you were talking to the police right now, like say you're talking to Kevin, big scary stone-faced dude, and you had to talk about what actually happened, what would you say? Someone who doesn't know anything about any of the stuff you've just learned today.
I would say I don't understand what happened to me. The last thing I remember is we were driving. There was a bunch of noise. There were things hitting the car. I lost control of the car. It swerved into the lake. I know I was probably out for a few seconds. And I remember crawling up on the shore of the lake. Of the pond. And that's the last thing I remember.
Sounds good to me. Way better than
Honestly,
I. Yeah.
And I was...
Yeah, just give him nothing.
All I know is that when I could think, I've been looking for Amy when I could think, but the rest of the time, I don't even remember where I've been all this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta-
we found you on the side of a road.
Yeah. We found you banged up on the side of a road looking half dead and took you to a place where you could get some food until we could make sure we could safely and securely take you to the police station. Obviously, I'm saying we, but I'm not going to be a part of this.
He says,
I'm waiting in the car.
that's the best we can do, I guess. He says, are we going to go do this now?
Yeah.
Well, do you think you're ready to do it now?
I don't think I'll be ready to do it ever.
Then we should probably just do it now. Unless
Yeah.
if you think it'd be better to do it in the morning, we can do that.
It's like, I know I've seen investigations happen before in my district. I've seen questioning. And I'm a councilman. I'm not...
And in this case, you're the victim.
I know, but I know that doesn't always... That's not always the... Yeah.
But, no matter what, you didn't do anything. And you have to just maintain that. Just keep yourself as calm as you can, and if things start to go out of control, try thinking of one of those songs in your head. The ones that used to calm you down. Just a melody. Music speaks to the soul. It's the best way to soothe the savage beast. I read that in a book somewhere.
In your head, Sonata, for the first time tonight, you hear, "Who are you calling a beast?"
The crazy guy inside of his head. I think back, the crazy guy inside of his head.
Finally learning not to say that stuff out loud. And she says,
in Kevin's head, Kevin's just sitting there just like, yeah, we like music, right?
he's like, I play like 7 instruments. He's
So
like,
that's the reason you
he's
keep
like
Sonata.
5 or 6 of them don't exist anymore, but I'm sure I can adapt.
I want to learn them. Don't tell Sonata that.
He says, Adam says, all right, I guess it's now or never.
All right, I'm going to call my dad. I'm going to tell him that we're going to meet him there.
Before we get to that call, it is 8:30. Let us take our 10-minute break. I need some more drinky drink, and we're going to be back in 10 minutes. And I think I've got the problem. I found the problem that was happening, so I think hopefully it's been resolved, and we won't have any more technical issues. So, but in the meantime, thank you all for being here so far. Check it out. I posted up a link. I changed the contest a little bit. We are now doing a giveaway to get 100 followers on YouTube, because at 100 followers on YouTube, we get to get our custom YouTube name, so we can stop using that generic code, and we can be actually dinner and a game of some kind on YouTube. So we will be giving away this. Oh my God, it's stupid heavy.
Oh, jeez.
This
All right.
D&D Collector Series box set, which is the DMG, the Monstrous Manual, and the Player's Guide with foil stamped covers, so they don't look like anyone else's D&D books. Okay, we will. And tell you what, we'll give away one of these to when we hit 100 followers on YouTube, and we'll still give one away when we hit 1,000 followers on Twitch. If we stay with Twitch, otherwise we'll probably turn it into 1,000 followers on YouTube. So because we already have 12,000 followers, huh? They're
Rules in DM.
they're beautiful. And look, the sleeve is embossed and shiny,
Oh, nice.
and it's got the logo and the stuffs. But yeah, this is amazing. We're going to give this away when we hit 100 followers on YouTube, and if we leave Twitch, we'll do it when we get 100 followers on Twitch. So in the meantime, thank you very much, and we will be back in 10 minutes. It is 8:34. We'll be back at 8:45.
Numbers, letters.
1,000 on YouTube.
There we go.
That's it. I'll let him play the inside. He knows what he knows. He's not at it. So I'm gonna bring him to you at the station place. Thanks, Yeah. I saw
It does. I don't know. It was nice. That's a surprise.
So Adam, we all know.
Would you like squirrels? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Seed warmers. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, that's.
There's a price tag that will give the rest of us growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he has no idea. Yeah, parking garage of her apartment building, but really and again, it would depend on the day. Probably. Because she's rich and rich people are dumb. Working rich people. You just look at them and you're like, I picture Sonata as the person that like is charming, but at the same time would infuriate me to be in the room with for more than 5 minutes, and that's what I do for her as a character choice.
Oh no.
Check. There we go. Sorry, my mic messed up, and oddly I had to literally disconnect the cable and plug it back in. Weirdness. So anyway, so you're calling the dealership, and within 30 seconds of you calling the dealership, they are like, because normally, your manager or your publicist would handle something like this for you.
And she's like, "Hi, I'm Aria Gold. I'm looking for a Jeep. I'd like it to have this, 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 and this. Is there any way that you have that available for me? I need it to not take 3 minutes."
And so you're basically sitting there, and the guy is on the phone is like, hang on, let me see what we have in stock. Can you hold? And you go through the whole ringer, and within 30 minutes you're absolutely frustrated and you still have no idea whether they have the car you want in stock, and it's just the worst experience in your entire life, except for that time you tore the heart out of that guy.
Yeah, well, this guy's not careful, he might be next.
So
How dare you keep me waiting? Does he have any idea? Oh no, he doesn't know who I am.
No,
I
that's
hate when
the
people don't
point.
know who I am. It's the point, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. I am Sonata.
And Alejandra, as an example of what Michaela was saying, you know who Floyd Mayweather is?
Yeah.
He once got a bunch of tickets at an airport, I think it was in Las Vegas, because he and his crew flew in and they didn't have enough Denali's to rent to them. You know what a Denali is?
Mm-mm.
It's a big luxury Cadillac SUV with all the accompaniments. So they didn't have enough Denali's to rent to Floyd Mayweather, so they bought $410,000 Denali's, drove them around the week they were in Vegas, went to the airport and parked them in the parking lot, and forgot about them. Forgot about
I'm going to have
forgot
a
about
heart attack.
$500,000 in cars.
I'm literally gonna have a heart attack.
And when they discovered that they had forgotten about the cars and the cars had been towed and gotten a bunch of tickets and everything else like that, they then donated the cars to the city and let them auction them off for charity.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
if they would forgive their tickets. But no, I mean, this threw that money away.
yeah. No, that's
Forgot about
horrifying.
it completely.
But
And
at least
then
they weren't like assholes about it in the end. I don't fucking
No. He was. It was actually kind of done as I think it was done on his joke thing on ESPN Radio. Floyd Mayweather had a slip up this weekend when he forgot $500,000 in SUVs at the airport parking lot. So it was like, holy shit, death. Rich people have no concept of money at all.
Yeah.
And remember, Floyd Mayweather did not start out rich, so
yeah.
that can be very much be a learned behavior.
Yeah. There's actually studies that have been done on that. The more money you have, the less it's worth to you.
Yeah, and the more money, more privileged you feel, the worse a driver you are.
Yeah.
That's actually another study they did.
Priuses are the way they are.
All true.
Sorry, that was terrible. I don't normally say that stuff out loud. I have a thing against Priuses. Being in that car makes me sick. I'm sorry.
Okay, I have no idea why. They're tiny little cars.
Something about the way that it drives actually causes motion sickness in me.
It's probably because of the where you are on the ground and how much exposure it's a big thing, but yes. Yeah. So back to what we were doing. So Kevin, you're taking Adam down to the precinct.
Mm-hmm.
Alejandro, you're riding with them.
Mm-hmm.
And Sonata's shopping.
I called an Uber.
Huh?
I called a buck standard Uber.
A buck standard Uber?
Yeah.
So it arrives out front and Sonata goes, "Where did you get that?"
It's like instead of being a freaking like big old Suburban or anything like that, it's like a Toyota Corolla, and you guys are gonna two of you are gonna have to ride in the back, and one of you's gonna have to ride in the front seat beside the driver.
Yep.
Sonata just looks disgusted.
Oh my god.
Charming, but hateful. Charming, but disgusting at the same time. It's like a skill.
So you guys
You've seen my office, right?
Yes, but that's you. I love it because it's a part of you.
Oh, okay.
She loves the dirty filthiness because it's part of you.
Oh my god.
It reminds me of you and all of your charms.
And weird smells.
Just remember that if you need to use the sink in the bathroom, Fang's got a little overzealous and it bent, and so it doesn't.
I'll dodge.
Don't run the water at full blast; it'll just drip out.
Yeah. It'll just spray. So I'll get in the back of the Uber.
Okay. I guess Adam will get back there with you.
Okay.
Just in case anything happens. At least Alejandro gets to ride in the front.
Yep,
Mhm.
I'm right in the front.
All right, so it only takes like 15 minutes to get to the precinct. You guys get dropped off outside. As you're getting dropped off outside, you're walking up the steps, and as you're walking up the steps, there is, and it's a kind of like a standard issue. What everyone thinks of when they think of police departments, it's a large gray building with very imposing, with not a lot of outside windows. It's got a big front stoop that comes series of steps that comes down in 3 tiers, and it's like 3 layers of steps going up. There's rails going down intermittently. There's everything like that. And there's different police officers standing outside. There's different, coming and going. There's people walking around in front, going up to the building, coming out of the building. And as you're going up,
we get donuts on the way.
Gotcha.
Human Chris forgot.
There's a donut shop right next to your office, remember?
Yep.
If they're getting donuts, honestly, Sonata would probably also ask them to buy a salad and deliver it to her detective friend. She wants to keep him healthy.
For
All
what
right.
reason?
Yeah, we'll tell the Uber driver we'll pick it up on the way. We'd hit a drive-through, tip the guy extra.
You could always just DoorDash it to him.
We could.
I'm sorry, you think she knows what DoorDash is?
I know.
Cater a full meal.
Oh my god.
She's just like, my food just kind of shows up. I tell my manager I'm hungry, and
He asked me not to cater to him anymore, so I don't know how to get him food. But if you're going, apparently it's inappropriate for a catering staff to show up at your work.
Alejandro's just like,
This is
My Lagros is gonna kill me.
what the fuck?
People, listen.
First
Okay,
world
so I grew
problems,
up on
man.
stories of the Carnegie Mellon household because my aunt is a crazy person. Did you know that they had a
Uh-oh.
each side there were separate dressing rooms where they had bathing suits of every size, and when they had Christmas dinner they had 2 dinners that were prepared. One was the one that they set in the center of the table to be shown, and the other one was the one that they served.
so they wasted an entire Christmas dinner just for pictures and shit?
No, the staff got to take the food home once the dinner was over.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
They'd better. What
Or
the
they donated the food to the homeless. It was actually very nice, but there's still that element of they had 2 meals, and one of which they didn't even touch for 3 hours.
My question. Why?
there
Because
is
they're
never
rich.
a why.
Why?
Because that's how old money works.
That's just stupid.
You read the
I hate that.
one with the
I hate
sign
that
with the
so-
eyes, the sign with the eyes and the glowing lantern and the 1920s rich people. You read that book, The Great Gatsby.
Oh, The Great
You read
Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby, and you're just like, there's no way that people can be like this. And then you find out, no, that's exactly how rich people actually are, and it's miserable.
Old money sucks.
New
It's
money
not just
does too.
it's not old money, dude. It's everybody.
Oh yeah, it's just money. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some interactions with rich people, not the super rich, because I went to a public school still. I didn't go anywhere. No, seriously,
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I still went to they still went to public school. Fuck's sake. But I've had some. I mean, I live in Massachusetts. I've been to Cape Cod. I've seen the mansions and shit. Why?
I secretly wanted to burn them all down. I mean, what?
Oh, dude! Oh my god! The terror, the visceral fear of being a weirdo, autistic kid to the IT guy in a law firm, and just shaking all the time because if you say one wrong thing to some rich bastard's kid, it could ruin your family's life. And so you're just sitting there on your DS in the corner of a McMansion, just not looking at anyone. It's so crazy. I knew somebody who had a full-scale zip line in the backyard of their summer home, and they had to buy like an extra piece of land so that they had enough room for like the zip line height that they wanted. And I was like, cool. I'm gonna walk home at this point. Like I can't do this.
Man, it's weird.
It's weird.
Having that much money is just freaking weird.
Yeah.
But we're getting way off track.
But yeah, this entire time, like so much of what like Sonata's habits and just like the way that she is sometimes, that is like, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Like, what the fuck?
But then she buys you an all expenses paid spa day, and you're like, oh, that's why I like this.
Yeah. Just gotta keep it from the 4 million cousins who would immediately be like, so.
Like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. You, Alejandra and Sanaa would go out for like dinner or something like, and Sanaa would be like, "Oh, I forgot my earbuds. Let's stop by Best Buy," and she'll drop like $400 on a brand new pair of like high-end digital earbuds.
You want them? I really like my.
Oh no! And then you'll get out to back out to the car to go to the restaurant, and she'll be like, "Oh, I found mine. They were in my purse. You want these?"
She's like, I mean, yeah, but also like my kidneys are gonna fail from.
What's that connection?
Oh god, that's horrible.
Wait, like one of the things is that like Sonata's one of those people who never looks at the price of anything.
No, why would she have to?
Dude, Ala cannot. She not only does she inspect everything, but she's like not an extreme couponer, but she's definitely like clearance first, sales if applicable, goes through her email to see if she's got any like promotional anything, and then still is like.
I still remember being a little kid and being super embarrassed when I realized what we were doing. Going to the grocery store with my mom and going to the scratch and dent section of all the cans, and like having my mom like going, "There's no rust on it, it's okay," and throwing, getting cans of food like that because like it was like that was it. That was what we did.
You cut the mold off, and it's perfectly reasonable to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Bread doesn't go to waste. It never goes to waste.
No.
Yep.
I play rich characters.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. But like, yeah, every time she does stuff like that, I was just like, wow, I'm filing that away for never gonna think about that.
Sorry.
That goes in the box.
That goes in the box.
Never to be seen again.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, Adam.
Rocky back. I'm not judging my friend. I'm not judging my friend.
I'm
I'm
not
not judging my
I'm not judging my friend at all. No, of course not. No, absolutely not.
Okay, so anyway, back. So you're walking up the stairs with Adam, and Adam kind of is like, he's got his hands in his pockets of his sweats, and he's kind of like matching. He's a little bit behind you, but you see he's looking down, kind of at the steps as he's going up them. What were you gonna say?
I was just about to say, Adam, are you okay there, man?
He kind of looks up at you, and he's got a bit of a distant look on his face, and he's like, "Yeah. You ever just have a conversation with your guy?"
Yeah.
All the time.
He kind of stops walking up the steps. He's like, "He's smart."
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, he's smart. He knows how he was made.
What?
And he can do it.
What do you mean?
That's creepy. But yeah, okay.
He kind of looks at you. He's like, "All right, sorry. Let's go."
Okay, bud.
And start walking the stairs. As you're walking up the stairs, when you cut the last flight, there's a large landing in front of two huge glass doors that have like a center spinning door, and then on either side of those, hang on a second, we may have had a snafu. Giving it a minute. No, give it a second here. An insight check. Okay, hang on. Can you hear me?
How would catering individual meals have to even work? Like, what the fuck? Yes.
You guys can hear me? Okay, so OBS is not crashed yet, but it just went whoopata. And it
Did I break you, Roland?
I just don't understand how that would even work. Like,
Oh,
have
is
to
it
pay
VC
extra.
chat?
Yeah, it might be VC chat that does it. Because someone just messaged in VC chat. I know because I saw it blink red.
He's completely silent.
We can't hear you anymore.
Nope.
Give it a second. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm gonna keep on singing till you tell me you can hear me.
One,
I'm
one,
gonna
one,
keep
one,
on
one.
singing
And
you
not
tell
anymore.
me you can hear me. This is what happens when things mess up. This is what happens when things messed up. And are we back yet?
Yeah.
Somewhat, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going.
All right. So it seems to be when anyone messages in VC chat.
And we lost you. Oh, wow.
Back.
Oh, shit, your camera froze and everything.
Yep. Yep. Oh my God, this is bad. All right, things seem to be going somewhere. How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Now, but
We
you've been
can
going
hear
in and
you.
out a ton.
But
Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me?
I can see you, yeah. I can see you and I can hear you.
the stream is real hiccupy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happens is VC chat, whenever we use it, we're probably gonna have to switch, guys. This VC is just really having too many hiccups, and it's all with the streaming service. But anyway, technical issues, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize again. I'm seeing the stream is still hiccuping, but OBS is going absolutely apeshit. So let's give it a couple more moments. I'm watching OBS. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. There we go. We seem to be kind of back. Alright, sorry about that. So, as you guys are walking up the steps of the police precinct, there is a large landing at the top where there is the only real glass on the front of the building, and that is a large wall which has a area where there is a spinning door, and then 2 doors on either side of that. And those all are in a roped off area that leads down to four different banks of metal detectors for people to come into the building through. Okay?
Okay.
There are police officers at each one of the metal detectors on either side. And there's police officers coming and going on the place, but there's also what looks like normal citizens coming and going as well. So you guys start heading in to walk into there, and as you're standing around, you notice that a large group of people who are standing up at the front turn towards you as you're coming up, and that's when you notice that they're holding cameras and microphones and pocket recorders and they just start saying, Councilman, is it true that you were kidnapped? Councilman, is it true that you were kidnapped? Is it true that the drug cartels tried to kill you, Councilman? Councilman, is it true
I'm gonna start blocking him off. Like, guys, come on.
Is it true that your wife has been hospitalized? Councilman, is it true she was involved with the riots? Is it true that she was leading a group of rioters, Councilman? They're just bombarding questions, and he kind of puts his head down. And he just keeps on moving forward. You get him into the turnstile, and as some of the officers actually step up and try and help you, Kevin, holding them at bay. And so, as you step forward, they kind of look at you. The officers kind of help you get him into the doors, and I think it's going crazy again. Ah, this is horrible. Oh. I know it's weird. OBS is just going weird. But anyway, so he says they kind of help you get him in, and you and Alejandra and he are kind of shuttered through the spinning doors. You get into there. You go walking up to the metal detectors, and as you guys are going through, you're emptying your pockets into the little item, the little tray that holds the keys and everything like that. And so you guys walk through, and each one of you kind of opens your pockets. Kevin, you go first. Did you bother to bring a gun? Because you are legally allowed. You have your carry. So
Yeah, I have my legal, like, I have my permit and everything for it, so I actually have my pistol with me.
Gotcha. So you put you take your pistol still in the holster. You kind of unclip it,
Yeah.
and you put the whole thing down. Take out the spare clips, whatever. What type of gun do you use, by the way?
It's a 45.
But semi-auto or revolver?
45 of
No, it's a Glock 45.
Oh, it's a Glock 45. So it looks like one of those gangster guns, and it's got the clip in the bottom, but it's got a really big barrel. And if Kevin's ever fired it around you, it sounds like a fucking cannon.
Mm-hmm.
It's loud.
Do you know what what a Glock bite is? It's when the sliding bit catches your hand when it goes back.
And it tears out a chunk right there.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a lot of pain. But anyway, so as you're coming in, they basically take you put your weapon down, put all your metals go in the thing, and then you go through the metal detector. Alejandra, you dump your keys in a little thing and everything like that, and you go through the metal detector. Adam has nothing on him. He doesn't even have his ID. So he just goes through the metal detector, and the metal detector goes off. And so they're like, "Oh, sorry, sir. Could you step back through?" And he goes, "Sure." And he steps back through, and it goes off again. He steps back through again, and it goes off again. And they're like, do you have anything in your pockets?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Can you take off your shoes, maybe?" And he takes off his shoes, and he's barefoot. He doesn't even have any socks on. And he takes off his shoes, and he shows them. The sweatpants only have 2 pockets. He tears them inside out. He's wearing a T-shirt, and frankly, the T-shirt barely fits him because he's huge. And so he's sitting there, and he empties his pockets and everything like that. And he kind of looks around, and he's got his eyes closed, and he's kind of like just, you can see he's kind of like talking to himself. And then they go, "All right, well, go back through again." And they make him go through, and he goes off again. And he's like, "Do you have any implants, or do you have any?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Well, let's just wand him. I don't know. Maybe it's on the fritz. Just wand him to make sure everything's okay." And one of the officers goes back, and they start running the wand over him, and he's like, nothing's going off on his feet. Go up to his knees, crotch, hips, chest. They each arm. They get up, and when they get to his neck, the wand goes off right here, and they go over and across, and right here, and it goes off on the other side. And that's when the guy doing the wand, as he's waving it over both the sides of his neck, you see for some reason his arm keeps on going higher, like the wand is riding up the guy's shoulder, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And Adam opens his eyes, and it's those mismatched eyes.
Oh, fuck.
The one blue and the one brown.
Yeah, officer, I think we're good here. Adam, there's a office they want to take us to over here.
And Adam looks at you, and his eyes open up, and he says, "They want to hurt him."
No. I'll
They
explain.
want to spread lies.
We'll get into that part in a minute, because I'm not sure we were getting that information, but, come on, let's go, bud.
And what are you gonna do? Do you grab him, or?
No. I'm just kind of like gesturing, just like, it's okay. Like, come on,
So
follow me. I won't lead you wrong.
Okay. So you go grab him by his elbow. Not hard. You're just like, come on, this way. Like that.
Just like kind of like gently, just like.
And you're kind of like directing him to go down the hallway, and the other officers are kind of like staring at him, and they're like, and one of them's like, "He wasn't that tall when he came in," And the other one's like, I don't have any freaking clue. This has been a weird week. And the other guy kind of looks and says, I'm going to... are we going to let him in the building? And one of the other officers goes, I'm going to go get the desk sergeant. And he starts taking off down the hallway ahead of you guys. And you guys are kind of like trying to walk down the hallway. And one of the other officers, the one who was wanting him, goes, you guys just hang out here for a minute, okay? And you can see all the reporters on the other side of the glass outside of the building. They've got their cameras up and they're taking pictures through the glass. You know what I mean? And they're all like, all like this. And the cops outside are like trying to push them away from the building because they're actually starting to block the entrance to the police station because they're just like all pressing up against the glass wall.
Yeah.
And
officer, you're familiar with Detective Connors, right?
he's like, Detective, yeah, he's inside.
Yeah, you really think
you recognize him? His name is Turk. He's a guy. You've met him before.
Yeah.
He's served on details for some of your dad's investigations, and
his name's Turk.
Turk, yeah. That's what he goes by. And he says,
"Can we at least get the councilman away from the damn cameras? Because I'm pretty sure that if the councilman decides to,
he says there's a meeting room 3 doors down on the left. Get him in there."
Yeah.
Like,
let him know where we are. We're not.
So you go to yeah. No, I'll send him over there. He's like, just get him over there. I don't know what's going on with this wand, but this is, I don't know what the hell's going on. Just get him out of sight. And so that you go to start leading him off, and he's turned around now and he's fully facing the glass, and you can just see that his breathing is deep. It's just like, I can feel it. I can hear it. Adam is scared.
I bet.
He thinks that
It's
they're
fine.
going to ruin everything.
Well, let's calm down, all right? Let's go. Here, there's a meeting room that we're gonna wait for my dad in. Okay?
He says, I'm just memorizing faces.
Oh, no. You know what? Oh,
Adam said I can't do anything right now.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, buddy.
He says, fine. And he turns around, he just starts walking. And when you go to the meeting room, he has to duck to go in the door and turn sideways.
I'm just thinking about the Jeep door. That I've seen before.
So he goes in and he's standing and he goes into the room and he is pacing back and forth. It's like only 3 strides for him, but he's pacing back and forth in the meeting room. It's like 3 strides, touch wall, turn around. 3 strides, touch wall, turn around.
Do you have a name of I mean, I know Adam's name, but do you have a name that you prefer?
He says, Frank is fine.
Okay, all right, Frank.
He says,
We can't do anything about them right now.
he says,
You know.
I know.
So let's take a deep breath. You're gonna give my dad a heart attack.
He says, you know how the mists work. Your dad'll just see Adam.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Unless your dad knows who and what you are.
No. No, we
Yeah.
we got
Who-
put on meds.
And he kind of says, yeah, who would want to know that their son's a vampire?
I mean, he's not all vampire, right? It's not all bad.
vampire passing.
He says, oh, yeah, he's an angel, all right. Because what willing celestial consorts with a fiend of the pit?
Hey,
It's like,
fiend is mean.
it's like, he looks at you and he says,
Oh no.
and he kind of looks at you and he kind of stops for a second and he kind of like slowly nods and he says, the truth is often very painful.
You're not wrong.
And he kind of looks over at you, Kevin, and he says, I have no designation because I am the first.
Yeah, we talked about that before, but you were a little
This, and he kind of gestures to himself, is what you all have imagined me as now.
Oh, are you more like the book version then?
I'm more like the movie version.
ooh.
You're
Oh.
so fickle. You cannot keep a memory for more than a decade. He says,
Yeah.
I wasn't made to be this clumsy thing. I am an immortal protector.
Right.
I am designed to hold lands sacred and to keep the secrets of my people safe. He's like, and now I'm this steel-shod, chopped together monstrosity because none of you can keep a legend straight in your feeble little minds.
No, that's fair.
It says, who would even make something like this out of cadavers?
According to the book, a guy named Dr. Frankenstein.
He
but,
actually, he never graduated. He dropped out to work on his creature.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
He says, the people made us to keep the sacred texts safe. We were made with clay and the blessings of a higher power. He said, and then the stories changed. The people lost their way. The old ways were lost, and we were reimagined. And this is what you gave me for a form.
No, Mary Shelley did that.
No, because in the book that she wrote, I was Adam.
Oh, right, that's true.
And I looked more like Adam. But that wasn't good enough for everyone.
Well,
They had to have a monster.
the 30s were a weird time.
He kind of shakes his head. He's like, it's been very confusing.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
It says, the only thing I have to protect now is Adam and Amy. And so I'm going to keep them safe. And he kind of looks at you, Kevin, and he says, and if you two are not going to help me,
Oh no, that's why we're here.
Yep. That's what we're supposed to. That's what we do.
We're doing what we can. Believe me, this. I understand the memorizing faces thing.
we'll find them later. And make sure that they don't give any more information than we allow them.
Fair enough.
It says, and you can see he's slowed down the pacing, and he's kind of shrinking a little bit. And he kind of stops and he says, it is within us to allow you all to have more control. I will do so with Adam now. But if they are not kept safe, I will be right here. Do you understand?
Most certainly.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, Frank, I'll make you a deal. If it looks like they're not going to be safe, and you need to step up, I'll get out of the way. I'll let you do what you gotta do.
You wouldn't have a choice.
No, that's fair. I'm just saying, I'm not your enemy here, so and I relied on, as you said it, the vampire, more than once to keep me safe. And sometimes you guys know better. Alright? I get it. I don't get the impression that you're what we would call a bad guy. Dangerous, sure, but you're not a bad guy.
I am a being made with a purpose.
Right. It puts us on the same side. And if you gotta step up, you tell me where we're going. Deal?
Deal.
Alright.
And by this time, he's like back to normal size. And the last thing that happens before, the last thing you see is his eyes go back to the normal brown eyes that Adam has. And he kind of like leans forward, and he says, "I'm sorry, I tried. I'm just happy he didn't do anything."
No, he's quite like you said, he's quite intelligent. He knows the situation.
This is before he was just always angry. I don't understand what the anger and the concepts were, but I think I'm understanding more now.
Hey, the more time you guys spend together, the more you'll learn. Hey, at least you don't have to fly to the Himalayas to get a sword, right?
He kind of looks at you and he's like, "What?"
Not kidding.
Oh, this is just too complicated.
Hey, you focus on your dude, okay? He's got your back.
We will. I'm gonna focus on Amy.
You focus on Amy, because that's what he's doing. He's focusing on you and Amy and keeping you two safe. Okay. So, Kevin's going to kind of like peek out the door and see what's going on.
So when you open the door, you can see that there is a bunch of street cops, regular police officers, and they're kind of at the end of the hallway and they're milling around looking at the door you're looking out of, and they're back down. They're coming from like deeper inside the precinct, and as they're looking around, kind of looking at you, you see your dad kind of come up between them. And as your dad's walking through him, he kind of looks back at them and kind of says, "What's going on? Just guys, get on about your day. What the hell are you guys doing milling around?" He comes walking over to you, and he says, "Is he in there?"
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, we have to get him away from the cameras.
He says, "Well, the cameras are cleared out. Let's get him back to interrogation."
Okay. Dad, where do you want me to put these? I'm gonna hold up the bag with the donuts.
He's like, "Give them to the blue boys."
You got it. I'm gonna hand it over to the first one that I see. Here you go, guys. Your lucky day.
He kind of takes it. He's like, "Well, god damn! It's not like this is totally cliche. Jesus!" Takes it. He's like, "What? Just glazed? Cheap ass." He walks off.
That's okay. Sonata bought this for her friends.
It's like Dad goes like, he's like, "Well, at least she has her head on her shoulders." He says, "See, so she's dating someone responsible." And he kind of looks at you and he's like, "When are you gonna date someone responsible? Your mother frickin'."
When I find somebody responsible.
He's like, "Yeah, well, you need somebody responsible. At least one of you will be."
That's true.
And he starts walking off ahead of you, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Michaela. What was your boyfriend's name again?"
The cop?
Yes, the police officer.
That's a great question, and
Did we name him?
Yes, we did.
we did. My brain says that.
I cannot remember. I've been trying to remember for the
I
past 10
remember
minutes.
the fiance's name was Richard. I remember the fiance's name being Richard.
The fiance who's no
'cause I
longer
thought
with
that was
us.
funny. Yeah.
That his
He
nickname would be
unfortunately
Jack?
passed. Yes. I did not on
I
purpose.
think. Hold on.
Because the dick passed.
We did name him. We definitely named him.
I feel like it was James or something like that.
We're doing a lot of J's.
Jimmy.
Jimmy J. There it is.
Something like that.
What do you-
I remember his last name started with a B. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't have
I'm so
Malagos's. I don't have Malagos's notes tagged in the City of Mist chat room.
I'm looking through. Bro,
What happened?
I'm trying to find this dude's name.
We might not have named him.
I thought
I don't
we
think
did.
we actually gave him a name. I think we just referred to him as the detective.
So you want to go ahead and just give him an official name right now? His name is. You said
Sure.
James. James what?
James
Buchanan?
James Blake, I think.
Ooh, Blake.
Detective Blake just sounds cool.
Detective.
Very
Blake
Miami
Simpson.
Vice.
Very.
I'm gonna call him Detective Simp.
Detective Simp.
That's his AKA Detective Simp.
Also known as Detective Simp. All right.
Simp.
All right. So you have an exclusive on Detective Simp.
I'm actually gonna do a thing in the City of Mist chat as well, so that I can find that later.
Well, I was making a big deal saying the name so Malagos would type it exactly as it's supposed to be. All right, so you go ahead and you said Blake, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as your dad grabs one of the plain clothes, he says, "Hey, take this over to Blake and tell him it's from his lady friend." And the guy goes, guy kind of takes it, and he's like, the plain clothes, the beat cop kind of looks and goes, "What, I look like a waitress?" And he's like, "Yes, Sheila, take the goddamn order over there." And the guy's like, "Jeez," grabs it and starts walking off. So you guys go down. You go farther back into the precinct. You get to the main desk for people who come in who are picking people up, because there is detention cells here and stuff like that. But this is definitely not where they bring the people get arrested here to. This is just for processing. But they go ahead and you walk through that area, walk by the sergeant of the watch's desk, walk back and through into an area where you can see down one way. You can see there's a bullpen with detective desks, and to the left of that there's a hallway that goes back, and there's several doors off the hallway, and the hallway ends in a tall glass window with iron bars over the window, and he stops and turns to the very first door he comes to, and he goes like, "In here, Councilman," and he opens the door up, and inside the room there is a single metal table that is on one end is bolted to the wall and has two steel legs that are bolted to the floor. There is there's metal folding chairs in the room, and there is a microphone hanging down from the ceiling, and there's cameras in all four corners of the room. The room is like 10 by 10, so it's going to be tight for everyone to get in here. And he kind of like the councilman walks in, and he just instantly goes a step in behind the councilman. Are you trying to walk in too, Kevin or Alejandra?
No, well, because there's another room usually attached to these.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, you want us in the?
It's like
observation?
No, civilian. I want you sitting down outside in the waiting room. I let you come this far. He says, but you're not a cop, remember?
That's true, as you've reminded me on numerous occasions. All right, we'll wait here. Adam, we'll be right in the waiting area, okay?
And Adam's like, all right. Kind of nods.
Which Adam would know, that's just as much to Frank as it is to him. We're saying, well, right here.
Yeah. And your dad kind of looks at you and raises an eyebrow, and he's like, yeah, right there, where you should be. Get going.
Yeah.
And he kind of, and as he's closing the door, he's like, your dad. You see your dad. He had a clipboard in his hand the entire time. He goes to close the door, and he's turning around. He's closing the door, and he says, "All right, councilman, let's start at the beginning. What the hell happened to you?" And right as he says that, the door closes.
Your mic's going out, Ray.
Hang on one second. We had a little shimmy again. Can you hear me now?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So as the door is closing, your dad turns to him and he says, "All right, councilman, let's start at the beginning. What the hell happened to you?" And then the door closes right as your dad says that. And you guys go walking down to the waiting room.
Yep.
How long are you gonna wait? Until he gets out?
Well, I figure we'll wait about what I figure would be like a normal amount of time to question a victim. In this case, and I'll keep Alejandro he's like, look, this is normal. This is about a normal wait. You know.
So 6 hours later, Sonata, you have spent a very frustrating half hour on the phone. At which point, you are completely and utterly fed up with this entire process. What are you going to do? I mean, this is absolutely frustrating. You keep on getting told that they have the exact thing you want, and when you start talking about you want to get it delivered to the house and blah, 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 then they start going, okay, well, it doesn't have everything you wanted exactly, so let's go ahead and give me just another minute. I found out it doesn't have it's not all-wheel drive like you wanted, it's only two-wheel drive, so we're going to have to go back and find another one that meets all the specs. And so about after like I said, 3 different people and half an hour later, what are you doing? I mean, you went from the first sales guy to the off-road specialist to the sales lead, and that's kind of where he's still mad scrambling, and he's like, let me call around to the other dealerships. I can probably have something shipped over, blah blah blah. And he's just like,
all right, so I appreciate that everything that you're doing. It's really so wonderful that you're trying to help me. And I like what you have, but why don't we just try to get as close as we can to what I'm asking for? It doesn't have to have everything. Just get me as much as you can with no GPS or satellite radio.
He's like, we can probably try and have we can have the satellite radio uninstalled, and we could have one of the vehicles repainted in black, but that would take a couple of weeks. He says, I have an off-wheel drive package, 4x4, with a tow kit and a winch. He says it is completely done out. It's all chaos and it's all kitted out. He says, but it does have a GPS unit in it, as I think the other salesperson told you, all new vehicles have GPS units in them. He's like, it's almost like a standard feature now. He's like, it's also, it has OnStar in it. And he says, so that's another thing that, we would have to find a way to disable. And he says, and it's got built-in Wi-Fi, so it has that. And he says, so the biggest issues you're having here are that if he wants to remove all these modern items, he says it's going to be almost a custom order. We don't have anything in stock that doesn't have all those items. Well, the Wi-Fi enabler is not a standard item, but you're looking at a high-end Jeep is what you're looking for. He says, have you ever considered looking at purchasing a classic restored Jeep? There's lots of people online who sell restored Jeeps that have lots of modern features without all the bells and whistles and have that off-road capability it seems that he wants.
What color is the car that you're talking about?
It's maroon with some, well, see, it's really high, really jacked up, so it's kind of got maroon low tones with some yellow trim, and then it fades out into like a darker brown roof and top. He says it's a very striking vehicle, but it's made for the eye of off-road enthusiasts who sometimes, have to identify the bottom of their car rather than the top.
What is the most nondescript off-road vehicle that you have?
Those two words don't really go together.
Well, what is the most nondescript vehicle that you have?
I've got this Prius.
She wouldn't care. I'm upset.
He says, "What is?" He says, "What was the last name you need again?" Sorry, I forgot.
Nondescript.
No, the
vehicle.
last name you used.
Gold.
Oh, Gold.
Gold. Ms. Gold, what are exactly, because you keep on asking for a 4x4 vehicle, and we have some that don't look terribly much like a 4x4, but the problem with the 4x4 is you usually have larger tires on a 4x4 vehicle. It stands taller than a normal vehicle because it needs the extra ground clearance, so it's going to look different. He says if you want something nondescript, then you're looking like a standard issue sedan or something like that, if something's going to not really stand out. He says, I'm assuming that you want this for someone who is looking for some kind of performance without looking to be, they have some kind of job where they do something with their vehicle.
Yeah.
And they don't want to stand out because of that.
Yeah.
He says, the only thing I can recommend for that is you go to one of the custom vehicle modifying companies, maybe one of the security companies, because they do things like they do vehicles with bulletproof glass, vehicles with armor plating that are designed not to appear like vehicles with bulletproof glass and armor plating. Vehicles
Can I have a
with
number for one of those?
Yes.
Thank you.
He says, now, do you understand that they will have some vehicles that are already in stock, but they usually have a much smaller selection because they modify the vehicles they buy from us.
Okay, well that's fine.
Okay. He says, so you'll have to be more open-minded with your color choices, etc., but you'll still get the features I think you're looking for.
I will take it.
He says, all right. So he gives you a phone number, and he says, just tell them that Roy from Palmdale is sending you over and that you are looking for a complete 4x4 security custom. And they will know what you're looking for in general.
And she's writing that down. She's like, got it. Thank you so much for all of your help, Roy. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.
He's like, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And she hangs up as soon as humanly possible and calls the other number.
So you get the other number, and someone answers and says, Fox Securities.
Hello, I was sent to you by Roy from Palmdale. I am looking for a security off-road full package, I think he said. My name is Aria Gold. I have a friend who is looking for a new vehicle, and I was hoping that you would be able to help me out.
Mm-hmm. Is your friend licensed and bonded and a security specialist?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna.
I'm gonna look around the walls
I
and see
can't
if he's got
answer
some
that
sort of like
question.
certificate.
Oh my God.
on the walls.
He says.
Yeah.
He says, okay, so we're going to need a copy of his tax ID. We're going to need a copy of his licensing certificate. and he says we just need these things because some of these vehicles that we sell do have to be registered with the state because technically they are heavily modified and they are designed to do things like, you could technically run through police barricades with some of these vehicles, so they like to keep track of who owns them.
Oh, okay.
He says,
Well, see,
now
I'm
the
kind of
full
seeing it as a present.
He's like, oh no, that's fine. I can tell you what to look for if you have access to his files, or if you have his full name and his, or if you have his full name and his, if you have his full name and his business name, I can look it up by that, and I can probably find him in the register.
I can absolutely do his full name and business name. Let's just do that.
Okay, excellent. He says, the other thing I wanted to let you know is we have 4 vehicles currently in stock. And I understand you're looking for this as a present. So this brings me to one very important question. The starting price, the one with the least amount of features that we have, is $245,000.
Oh, okay.
And that comes with the armor plating, the bulletproof glass, the full security system. He says it comes with the fully insulated electronic system, which should be proved against EMP attack. And he says, and it does have GPS, and it has a computer on board that can be set up with satellite access so that he can access any files, databases, or anything like that he needs to. We have set it up for SIP and NOC certification, so if he is a federal agent of some kind, he can actually be able to technically log into the Fed databases. He says, but he will need to get that clear with his supervisors first.
All right. That sounds perfect, honestly. I think that would be wonderful. Probably exactly what he was looking for, although I don't think he'd love the GPS. I think he'll manage all right.
He says, excellent. He said, well, the GPS can be turned off.
Oh, that's great. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
He says there are certain situations where, such as narco and surveillance, that they don't want to run GPS, so
Absolutely.
It's understandable. He says the other vehicles we have go up in price from there. He says, but that's where you get into features like the unpierceable tires, the armor plating, the superstructure underneath for IED. He says, I'm sorry, explosive devices placed underneath the vehicle. There's plates put in place that will protect the driver and the passenger in case someone rigs their vehicle to explode.
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful choice. Could I possibly get something with all of that?
We have one vehicle that has most of those features already installed, plus the other ones I mentioned. That vehicle goes for $740,000.
Okay.
He's like, all right, well, we'll just need to get all the paperwork set up. He's like, go ahead and give me his information.
All right, and she will give him everything she has.
Okay. He has like business cards right there. So.
Yeah, she's just reading off of
she pulls out some of the mail up and reading information.
Yeah.
There's certifications on the wall too that say I can legally do this. And
some of the stuff you cannot register with any federal databases to get access to them because this is getting into like the federal databases for background checks and stuff like that. Yeah, you have no access to any of that shit.
No.
Yeah.
He's like,
no, but like all of his certifications that say I can legally stalk your husband and make sure he's not cheating on you.
After about 20 minutes, about 20 minutes of you talking to him and him taking information, you can hear him tapping away on keys, and he comes back and he says, "This is for I'm sorry, Kevin. What's Kevin's last name? I keep on Connors. He says this is for Kevin Connors, correct?
Yes.
And he is registered as a fully licensed and bonded private investigator. How many is Kevin do any out of state work?
Yeah.
On occasion.
He's like, okay, so he is registered in the federal databases. Some of the packages that you're paying for with that vehicle, he won't have access to.
That's all right. I don't mind.
Okay, understandable. He says, so the last things we need to do with the registrations, all this is he's going to have to come down and sign paperwork. So you're going to have to basically bring him here before we can surrender the vehicle to him, because we have to validate that it is him. We have to validate his IDs, and it's like things froze again.
Oh no.
No, you're good.
Oh no, we're good. OBS froze.
That would be a little bit more problematic, huh?
But it's doing okay
Your mic
now.
kind of was giving me an SOS there too when you were talking. Like,
It was like.
Yeah, I can hear a crackle on my mic right now.
Oh, and it's gone.
and it's gone entirely now.
Hang on
Oh,
a
no.
second.
Hey,
It seems to be
That-
better. It seems to be
The
better.
price tag gave me a heart attack.
Can hear you.
Okay, good. So he says, yeah, we're going to need to have him come in to verify identification, tell him to bring all of his documentation in with him, and once we've had everything verified and we have everything checked out, he says we will have the title transferred, we'll have the vehicle registered in his name or his S-Corp, whatever one he prefers. He says, and then we can go ahead and surrender the vehicle to him. It is fully ready to go. He says, it is, we really appreciate the business. He's like, how are we going to handle the bill?
do you take debit cards?
You have a debit card with a $750,000 limit?
Yes.
Oh, no, yes, absolutely, ma'am. We can definitely try and run it against a debit card. Let me get my office manager. I've never really done this part before, so let me get the office manager on the phone, and she'll handle the rest of this with you.
Because you know for a fact Sonata has at least one black card.
I know. I was gonna say, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
All right.
She's probably got a black card in her alias too, because she set it up to deal with her Uber account.
Gotcha. So that took a couple of hours to do because the whole initial thing and everything like that, and then the calls.
Yeah.
So while Sonata is paying a ridiculous amount of money for an armored vehicle, you guys are sitting there and you spend after about 2.5-3 hours. Your dad comes out and walks into the waiting room, and he says, "We've gotten your statements about what happened at the amusement park."
Yeah.
He says, "I'm going to assume that you all are going to basically be going with the whole, you found him on the side of the road."
Literally, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah. Next time, remember to tell him what road.
I can give you that road because there's a security camera at the bank. Right across from where we were when we found him.
Okay. Well, we'll get that down in a minute. He says, something is happening, son. He says, none of this is right.
No.
Ever since you got dressed out of the army, I've been trying to understand. I know something happened. I know you don't want to talk about it.
You got a crowbar, Dad?
Yeah, in the car.
You gonna need it for anything?
No. What do you need a crowbar for?
Take it to interrogation, turn off the cameras, I'll show you. You're not gonna believe it, you're gonna come up with an excuse, and I'm telling you right now. I'll show you. Right now.
It's like, all right. And he goes, and he goes,
And I meet him at the interrogation room in
Mhm.
question. Because I know exactly which one he's
Yeah.
gonna go to.
and he goes, and he comes in the interrogation. Actually, you go in the interrogation room, and as you're sitting, you get escorted back to the interrogation room, and as you're sitting there, you see that all the little.
There we go.
Oh, so yeah, it's doing it again. Give it a second. But as you go, let me know if you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Obviously, you cannot hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm frozen. Zin, 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 zin. That was a joke, by the way. I was doing that on purpose. Do you guys hear that?
Oh,
Oh boy. There it
Yeah,
goes again. Yay! Something seems to be working again. Yay! Things seem to be working again. But as you guys are escorted back, and as you go into you're led into the interrogation room. Are you taking Alejandra with you? Because he did say you guys.
If she wants to, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, just.
All right. So you guys walk back into the interrogation room. You're sat down by one of the officers. As you're sitting there waiting, after a few moments, you see that all the cameras have the little red lights on, and all the red lights on the cameras go off, and the little light on the microphone that hangs down from the ceiling goes off. And your dad walks into the room, and he doesn't have a tire iron, but he has a piece of rebar. Mm-hmm. And you recognize it. It's a little thing he keeps behind his seat in case he doesn't have time to get his gun out of the glove box. And so he walks in and he says, "So," and it's not a little tiny piece of this is rebar that goes in a floor. It's the 1/2-inch thick rebar. And he says, "I didn't have a crowbar, but I got this all the time, so."
Yeah, well, I was hoping you had like a tire iron, something that you weren't going to be needing later.
It's like,
I will try to straighten this out when I'm done.
He's like, "You can find these anywhere. What are you trying to say?"
I take the rebar and I just literally like right up at the top so that I require a lot of torque, mm-hmm. and I just bend it.
What the fuck is going on?
I told you.
And he kind of steps back, and you see his hand just goes to where his gun would be, but his gun's locked in his desk. So his hand goes for his gun, and he kind of looks at you, and he's like...
And then I straighten it back out as best I can.
It's not perfectly straight, but, you get somewhat... And he says, "Did they experiment on you in the army?"
No.
He's like... And he kind of looks at you, Alejandro. He's like, "It's obvious you know what's going on. You're not even shocked."
I have nothing to do with this.
No, actually, she has nothing to do with the fact that I can do that.
Yeah, I mean...
He's kind of sitting there, and he's like, "All right, tell me."
Since she knows about the Knuckles thing, she's 10,000 times more uncomfortable. She already always is around police. She's
so,
the fact that she, Kevin bends rear, and she's just like, "I feel completely safe," and his dad's like, "Hi." She's like, "Nope, sir, Jesus."
My family just owns a bodega.
She's just like, "I have nothing to do with that shit. I don't even work here. I'm not like."
I try to explain it to him as best I can, and I even explained to him, like, "Dad, look, listen, I don't know, in a few hours, or a day, maybe even a few days, you might not remember we even had this conversation. Or, if you do remember, you might come up with an excuse for why it's perfectly logical, and there's some scientific reason, like the government experimented on me. Literally 2 nights ago, I sprouted wings and I jumped over a building that exploded."
He kind of stops a second and looks at us. "That was you?"
Yeah.
You killed people!
Dad, that was the other guy. We just talked about this. Remember what I said? In a couple hours, you're not going to even remember we had this conversation.
I understand what half of these words mean, but he probably knows how to make it stop.
Yeah.
Actually should be back.
Yay!
Man, this has been a bad night for technical difficulties.
Technology is a
biatch.
We will come up with a solution, everyone, I promise.
Well, I tell you what, this scene with your dad is probably going to go a little bit longer, and it is already 10:08. So,
rebar, and Alice
yeah.
Tom looks at her and she's like,
"Oh yeah, wait until his dad turns on you."
Oh, fuck.
But let's go ahead and wrap this up because we are having a lot of technical difficulties, and I am going to go ahead and say that we're going to call it for the night. Thank you all very much to everyone who joined us. I am going to be looking at trying to figure out why the heck we had so many problems and why everything kept on going crazy. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Michaela and Milagros and Chris, for being here tonight. Jack, we hope that the wedding went wonderfully, and we hope you feel much better, and we hope to see you back next week. We're going to discuss in Discord whether or not we are going to make the move from Twitch to this version of hybridized streaming, but we will talk about that later. We'll be letting you know as soon as we make a decision. In the meantime, thank everyone for their time tonight. The only thing we can't do that we normally do is raid, because we have no one to raid right now. So, because I don't know if we could even raid from YouTube or Facebook.
You can't.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, everyone, please have a good evening. Be safe. Be careful. Wear a mask, please. Pretty please. And don't forget that at Dinner and a Game, we always save you a seat at the table, and we want you to be safe and well to come back and sit at that table with us and enjoy storytelling as we continue our adventures in City of Mist, a game by Son of Oak Studios, using the Powered by the Apocalypse rules to tell tales of everyday people with gods trapped in their heads. So, guys, have a good evening. Thank you very much, and we will see you in 1 week. Good night.
Bye.
Night.